Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Quantum Success Show, where you could get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And I am with one of the most amazing human beings that I know. She is such an incredible light in this world. She has been many roles to me. Many of you, but just by looking at her face, know who she is. She is the amazing Marry Morrissey. Mary, thank you so much for being here.
I'm thrilled to be with you, Christy.
I love you so much. So grateful for you and your presence on this planet and in my life.
Me too.
Truly. So Mary is a consultant, visionary, empowerment specialist. She's a speaker. She's a best-selling author. She's been a consultant on universal principles for over 4 decades. And she is the founder and owner of Brave Thinking Institute. And she does transformational talks, seminars, and she has become one of the most elite, well-known teachers in personal development. She is one of those amazing people that in this industry, there are a lot of people. And she's one of those that I can say really, really does walk her talk. She is so full of integrity, really in it for the right reasons, and really does follow light. And so I'm very particular about who comes on this show, because I'm very, I appreciate all of you, and I really appreciate your trust. And so I am so deeply honored to have Mary back on the show to talk about universal principles, especially as it relates to money, because no matter if you have it, we always seem to want more of it, or we can always improve our relationship energetically with it. And sometimes most people don't have a very good relationship with money. And so I'm so excited to have this conversation with my dear friend. So Mary, let's get into it. What are the 8 spiritual secrets for multiplying your money?
Oh, often people think I don't have enough money or I would love more money. And then we look to the world of circumstance to try to get a better job, get a promotion, get an inheritance, or other ways that we think invest well. All of those things are fine. But at the end of the day, Christy, you teach, and I do, that if we have internal resistances to the experience of more in any part of life, at the end of the day, spiritual law prevails. Yes. And law dictates in terms of all the things that we call our own, our circumstances, situations, and conditions right now are a direct reflection of the major dominant vibration that we're operating on. And we can consider things outside that, but we don't have them if they're not a match to us. So 8 Spiritual Secrets is a systematic 8-week program, first to identify the internal resistances and practices so that we establish a new thermostatic set point for abundance that actually impresses our subconscious mind in ways that our whole system is in harmony, not just our desire for more, but we become more and more as we practice these practices that are in that program. Things that I've studied for over 40 years and learned along the way. I had my own internal resistances. So we can change that set point and allow more good in our lives.
Well, have you ever had a point, and I know that there's clients that get in alignment, they do their meditations, they're doing their inner work, they're really dedicated, right? They understand vibration, at least from the consciousness that they're at, always more to learn. They're doing that, they feel like they're doing that, and things just don't seem to change in their outer circumstances, right? So if there's this universal law, which you and I both know to be absolutely true and consistent and never changing, that what would you say to them when it's like, but I feel good, I'm excited about this thing, but the how isn't showing up, and I'm like, staying centered, and yet it's not coming, and so I don't see the way. What would your be advice to someone like that?
One of 2 things is happening. One is you're actually not the match you think you are. You meditate, you say affirmations, you do these things, but you have much more patterning that is not what it is. So it takes some time. We didn't create the results we have in our life with a snap of a finger. We didn't develop our worldview of how it works in the world and who we are in it. That was developed over time. And in the same way, when you want to change results, you want to have a clear picture of it, learn what it means to become a match of that, and then operate or make action steps from that frequency instead of from the frequency of I hope it happens and when is it going to happen and why is it not happening? That's actually a form of resistance.
Yes.
So why I created this program was I saw so many really wonderful people stuck like that.
Yeah.
And wanted to help them easily and quickly transform in a way that I know is scientific. It's not just vision, but it's vibration. You know, there was a time in my life, Christy, when I was struggling with money. I mean, I've gone through different eras, but in my 20s, young mom, husband, we're struggling in a certain way with money, but I'm now interested. I'm in my middle 20s, and now I'm interested in transformation. Some things have happened in my life, and I'm really an infant in this discovery, but I'm interested in studying. And there was an event happening in Los Angeles, and there was one man who was coming to speak that I had heard knew so much about how it works. I'd read one of his books, and I knew that he knew more than I knew about this. So I got myself to LA, went to his lecture. He was in his 80s. He walked out on the stage. There were 3,000 of us. I'd gotten there early thinking I was going to get up front. I was like 1,000 person back, but I had my notepad and I'm sitting there ready to take notes. And he walks out in a double-breasted black suit, white hair, just brilliant. I remember noticing, wow, he is a picture of abundance. And he walked out, looked at this audience of 3,000 people, pulls out a wallet, pulls out a whole bunch of money out of that wallet, fans it out, and holds it up for all of us to see, hundreds, 50s, 20s. And that in that time of my life, I never had $100 bill in my wallet or a $50 bill. And I had a way of treating the money that was actually in my wallet a certain way. But he holds this money up and then he says, first thing out of his mouth, I love money. I just love money. And then he proceeds to keep that money. And I'm thinking, I traveled over 1,000 miles to hear this guy. I felt repulsed. I had critical thoughts about him, judgmental thoughts. And and then the thought, this guy's not even spiritual. Then he put the money back in his wallet and he said, so let me ask you a question. Don't raise your hand. Did any of you feel a bit repulsed by what I just did or had some revulsion? Did you have thoughts that were critical? Maybe you had judgment about what I just did. Maybe you even had the thought, this guy's not spiritual. And I felt like he climbed right inside my head. And he said, I want to tell you something. If that was what you were thinking, I want to tell you something. Money heard you. Why would money come where it's not really welcome, where it's not loved? And let me tell you one more thing. Instead of doing what I just did, if I had walked out with a little 3 or 4-year-old little boy, cute little boy, and I pick up the little boy and I hold him up for all of you and I say, this is my grandson. This is my grandson. I just love my grandson. Not one of you would have thought critically, no judgment. You wouldn't have thought I'm not spiritual. Why? Because you've been programmed. It's okay to love a grandchild, and it's not actually okay to love the symbol of your own freedom. Money is a symbol of freedom. And the very power breathing you is seeking to express more freely, to give its gifts to the world by means of you, what you would love to bring forth. It's right for you to want freedom, but you have programming that actually keeps it away from you. I remember thinking, I got to find that programming. I got it because I'm clearly seeing the results of that programming in struggle and lack and wanting things to be different, but them not being different. And that really began a journey for me.
A journey where you are just a symbol of abundance. I mean, you really do. You're one of those people that I look at and say, you really do have it all by design. You've designed it that way. Beautiful marriage, a wonderful relationship with Joe. You've got a beautiful family, a thriving, very lucrative, fun, passionate career that you love so much. I mean, you're healthy in your body. Like, it goes on and on. But what didn't happen by chance, you designed that. You chose those things consciously to be able to bring that in, including your relationship with money, including the things that money brings you, the house you live in, the places you go, the experiences that you have. So what would you say to someone that hears you and says, yes, I get that. That's me, Mary. but has that imprint of almost where the Bible even says, the religious upbringing says, it is the love of money that is the root of all evil. We are literally in the religious upbringing, the seeds of imprinting for a lot of us that we're taught, you can't love money.
So I think particularly in our biblical studies, it's important to go back to the Greek. And the word money, as it was defined in the Greek, inherited and interpreted through the Hebrew and the Aramaic, is greed. It's greed that is the root of all evil. Wanting only for yourself, not caring about anybody else. It doesn't matter what wake I leave in my life where I'm gathering more and more, and it's greed driven. That has darkness in it. And we can see it lots of different places where we look. But the love of freedom is another matter.
Yes.
I think every one of us, when we think of the idea of freedom, would we not want freedom for every person we know to really express their gifts? There's a uniqueness in every one of us, as unique as our thumbprint is our soul print. Nobody will bring love into existence in exactly the way you will. And if you're not free to do that because you're wondering how you're going to feed your kids or put a roof on your house or will the electric bill be paid, that you don't have the creative freedom to actually bring your gift. So money's really only good for two things. It's good to make you comfortable enough so you can be creative enough to give your real gift. And whatever it is, it might be growing a community garden and sharing the wealth of that food. It might be starting a daycare. It might be writing a book. It could be starting a business. It could be growing the business. It could be releasing the business, where freedom, the idea of more and more freedom to express what life is seeking to express by means of you. I believe that that's the most spiritual activity there is. Because if we really do that, it's not just about us, it's about others too. We care about what we're doing, having some good in it for others. And we continue to grow and expand, and it's no respecter of age. It's still sending impulses no matter what age we are for greater, freer, fuller life.
Love it. Absolutely. And when you think about it, we were designed to have free will. I mean, we can choose freedom or we can choose to be in suffering, but it is our birthright. Like you're saying, we are free to breathe. We are free. And if we feel that we're not, that perspective, of course, keeps us in lack and in struggle and suffering. But if we know that we are free and that we have free choice, we're free to choose freedom. We're free to feel freedom, and money being a symbol of that, then why wouldn't you welcome that in?
Well, I think we all want to. It's just that, and yes, we are free to choose freedom even in the presence of situations. It's not that easy when our viewer, maybe one of our viewers or more of them today, they're going, well, yeah, but here's my deal. We've had COVID for an area of time, and this is what's going on for us. Or, I'm not able to just snap my fingers and agree with freedom. And I do have some suffering around that. So here's what I've learned that can really help. One is, yes, you don't deny the situation you're in. If you're struggling with money and you have more bills mounting and less freedom to choose to do the things you want, that's the current condition. Don't deny the current condition. Deny the power of that current condition over the power breathing you. Believe more in the power breathing you than the power of that condition. Yes, we all have conditions. I don't care what age we are, how much freedom it looks like we have. We all have situations and conditions. And what do we do with those? That's where real freedom comes in, is our ability to be free to think our own thoughts, even with conditions going on. The more we think from the frequency of the conditions, the more cemented they become in the world of form. We actually concretize them. And then we look and it's been a year of struggle with money, or 5 years, or 10. And we realize
decades.
Yeah, it's been very painful.
Yeah.
So why I created this 8-week program is, 8 is a symbol that we turn on its side, and it's infinity. We have infinite possibilities in this beautiful energy in which we live and move and have our being. The one that will be ours is the one we get in harmony with. So this was a way of, it's not just inspiration. I wanted to bring transformation. So we have a chance to, week by week, elevate ourselves, create a new set point that week, and then establish that over 8 weeks. And then people own it. You can go back to it again and again. And over time, you turn back 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, and you can really see how far you've come, how much more freedom there is, and the channels of abundance and all of the things that are natural when we're in harmony with it.
Yes. So I know that you have a free gift. You have an ebook and a meditation that I'd love to invite everybody to go under the video, and I'd love for you to share about it. But there's a link under the video that will tell you more about what the program Mary's talking about, but also you get some really great information to walk away from, a meditation that will help you, an ebook that gets your mind in tune with this new information. So I'd love for you to share that.
Well, over the many years of research and even in my own life, I began to recognize there are pretty much every place I worked with people. I've had the privilege of working with people, as you, Christy, all around the world. And there's some things that we begin to see themes in. Humans get patterned and programmed with condition-based living versus, coming from the infinite side of their nature. Not so easy. Even if you recognize it, it's not so easy to change all those patterns. And there are pretty much eight hidden barriers to abundance. And because they're hidden, we don't see them. I didn't know I was thinking thoughts that was pushing money away from me, of resistance to not be wanting to be spiritual rather than have money. I was in an either or mindset. So there are 8 of these. And so the ebook takes on the 3 most common hidden barriers, and it's completely free, something I make available, and your listener and anyone who hears can absolutely have this ebook. You'll explain how to get that, Christy.
Just go below the video and click the link.
There you go. Okay.
Easy enough.
And then because we don't get to not think, and those thoughts have patterns to them, they have frequency to them, I created a meditation that you can use again and again and again called the abundance meditation. And what it does is help us move into, there's more to every single one of us than we know, and we're far greater than we've ever thought. And we've had programming. So the abundance meditation helps you move to the next level, and then the next and the next after that.
So go below the video. These are free resources for you to learn more about what Mary is sharing, to literally have transformation from the meditation. When you're working with the meditation, working with energy like that, you're literally in the process of acting in transformation. You're moving energy. And like you said, the energy is one thing, mindset's another thing. Learning and educating, having more awareness, these are 2 beautiful gifts to help you continue on your path. So thank you very much for your presence, Mary. Thank you for all that you do, all that you do in the world. You're just such a light in my life, and I love you. And thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody. Let us know what you're taking away from this information, and go below the video to grab the 2 amazing gifts from Mary. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought. Leave me a comment below, and be sure to share and tag your friends. And be sure to check out my other videos here and on this site.